Okay.
Anna Swift playing Actor 5, 2337.
Katie Flack playing Actor 6, 2056.
Hannah Grace playing Actor 4, 2062.
Sarah Hayward playing Actor 2, 2070.
Amy Williams playing Actor 3, 2358.
Teddy Kofi playing Actor 7, 2092.
Shannon Boyce, Actor 1, 2020.
Great. Break a leg, girls.
We speak with the words. We are the voices of the disappeared. Speak of us. Keep us alive in your memories. We won't forget. We won't forgive. We won't forget. We won't forgive. We won't forget. We won't forgive.
The place is called Plaza de Mayo. In English, it is called May Square.
The town is Buenos Aires.
And the country is Argentina.
Every Thursday at 3:30 in the afternoon, the women of the Plaza de Mayo march around the Statue of Liberty in front of the Presidential Palace.
We are still resisting. We are still resisting. We are still resisting.
The mothers of the Plaza de Mayo have been meeting and walking since 1976.
Judgment and punishment! Judgment and punishment! Judgment and punishment!
If somebody dies of an illness or of an accident, you know what has happened to them. You have a funeral, you say goodbye and you grieve.
But if your child were to disappear off the face of the earth, it is the cruelest of things. You cannot say goodbye. You cannot have a funeral. You can never find out what happened.
In Argentina, between 1976 and 1978, more than 10,000 men, women and children disappeared without a trace.
The women who walk in the Plaza de Mayo are the mothers and grandmothers of the disappeared.
What common criminals made these people disappear?
No common criminals. These were criminals of an uncommon kind.
Why didn't they go to the police? No point. It was the police that did it.
They should have gone to the army.
No point, it was the army.
What about the government?
Their hands were the dirtiest of all.
Float in the ocean steeped with the fishes. We speak with the worms. We are the voices of the disappeared. Speak of us. Keep us alive in your memories.
My daughter was 14 years old when she was taken. Her name is Monica Gracero Santucho. She was in the house with 2 other children.
What's happening? Look out the window. Someone's shooting from a house down the street. The army's shooting back.
Why are they doing this? Don't you know 3 people live here?
They're scaring the little ones. My girl's crying. Why don't they stop? Come on, I'm going to do something.
Like what?
I'm going outside.
Don't be stupid.
I'll be okay.
On the 3rd of December 1976, at approximately 5:30 p.m., Monica Gracero Santucho went out into the street with 2 other children, calling for the shooting to stop.
Please stop. You're frightening everybody. Please stop.
Hey you! Shut up! Please, stop shooting! Let her!
She was seized at once, blindfolded, and put into a white Fiat 600 that was driven by heavily armed civilians. She was never seen again.
My son, he was
taken on the 9th of November 1976. He was asleep with his wife and a 5-month-old son. They were woken about 2 a.m. by a loud explosion.
What was that?
Uncle C! My son got out of bed, opened the front door to see 4 men jumping over the fence. 3 of them burst into the flat. They wore civilian clothes and carried rifles.
You, stand where you are!
What are you doing?
You women, turn your back and the black, turn your face away. You'll come with us.
But I didn't do anything!
Shut up!
The neighbors say they dragged my son out of his house and forced him into the back of a Ford Falcon car. This was the last we heard of him.
My granddaughter, her name was Paula. She was 23 months old when she was taken. In May 1976, a group of heavily armed men burst into the home of my son and his wife. Their names were Claudio and Monica Lagares. They took all 3 of them.
Lots of people were arrested and completely disappeared. We had to find out what happened to our children.
We knocked on doors. We tried the police stations. Excuse me, officer. I'm seeking the whereabouts of my son. He's been arrested.
I'm sorry, madam. I know nothing about him. It's not my department. You should try the area police station. Maybe they'll know something.
Thank you, I will.
I'm sorry, madam. It's not our record. You should try the local police station.
I've just been there.
Have you tried the Ministry of Interiors?
No.
I should try there. They might know something.
Thank you, I will.
No, sorry, we have no record of them. Have you tried the police station?
Yes.
I should try there again if I were you.
Where is my son? He's been arrested.
I know nothing. Not my department.
Where is my son? He's been arrested.
I know nothing. Not my department.
Where is my daughter? She's been arrested.
I know nothing. Not my department.
Where is my son? He's been arrested.
I know nothing. Not my department.
Where is my daughter? She's been arrested.
I know nothing. Not my department.
Where are our children?
Have you tried the hospitals and the prisons?
Yes, we've tried everywhere. Nobody will tell us anything. Yes.
It isn't good to keep asking questions.
You don't want to be troublemakers.
We don't like troublemakers.
Maybe something might happen to you.
Who knows?
There were lots of us. We kept bumping into each other in the police stations, in the ministries. We had to do something.
We arranged to meet somewhere obvious, some place we all knew. The Plaza de Mayo seemed the best place, outside the palace of the president.
We didn't know what to do. Nobody paid us any attention. But we are together, and there is comfort in our solitary. We agreed to meet every Thursday at 3:30. We will be a constant reminder to the government, a thorn in their side.
The movement grew bigger. Soon there were 60 or 70 of us. Then the police came.
You can't sit here. What you're doing is illegal. You can't sit here. Move. March.
They hit us with their bare fists and truncheons.
At the beginning of October, we organized a huge march along with 1 million children.
So many people, we asked ourselves, how can we stand out? There will be so many people.
We can put a triangular shawl on our
A
heads.
triangular shawl? What color?
White. Like a nappy. Something in memory of our children.
And from that day on, the white headscarf became our badge, our emblem.
They arrested 300 of us.
But they couldn't make 300 of us disappear. The world's press had seen us.
We were the mothers, and we were the mothers who prayed there in the square.
Dear God!
Deliver us from these murderers!
They can't detain mothers. Not mothers who pray when the world's press is watching.
But when no one was watching, they took their revenge. 3 of the mothers disappeared together with 2 nuns who were helping us.
We are still resisting.
We are still resisting! We are still resisting! We are still resisting! Judgment and punishment! Judgment and punishment! Judgment and punishment!
We are the voices of the disappeared. We have flown through the sky, the cold rush of air in our faces. We float in the ocean, swimming in the fishes. speak with the worms. We are the voices of the disappeared. Speak of us! Keep us alive in your memories!
Who were the people chosen to disappear?
You could disappear because
You were a rebel who planted bombs!
You were suspected of being sympathetic to the rebels.
You were similar to someone who was sympathetic.
Your name appears on the suspect's address book.
You're a journalist or a social worker working among the poor people in a slum.
You were a lawyer who asked too many questions.
You said the wrong thing at the wrong time!
Someone gave them your name.
Or you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
On the 27th of January 1977, Dagmar Hagen, a 17-year-old Swedish girl, was taken by mistake.
Why were people being made to disappear?
the story started with the guerrilla war. In 1974, a group called the Montonaros was waging a guerrilla war. They're exploding bombs and killing people every day.
On March the 24th, 1976, the civilian government of Everprome was overthrown by the military. Jorge Rafael Videla was made president, and the new government was determined to destroy the guerrillas.
It is a crime to say anything at all against the army. We will create a whole new society to meet the needs for our nation. This plan will be called the process of the national reorganization. Political crimes will be punishable by death.
I have a question. What's a political crime?
A political crime? That's easy. It's anything you say it is. In other words, if you're not on our side, we will kill you!
First, we will kill the subversives. Then, their collaborators. Later, those who sympathize with them. Afterwards, those who remain indifferent. And finally, the undecided. My name is General Dios Engin, Governor of Buenos Aires Province.
So now we know the government arrested anyone it did not like. But then where did the disappeared go? What happened to them? Few were released and bodies were rarely found.
Gradually, over the years, the truth about the disappeared has been revealed.
As part of El Proceso, the military government created 360 secret detention centers. Each detention center had its own task force to kidnap and process its victims.
So then what happened to these men, women and children that were taken to the detention centers?
Bound, gagged and blindfolded, they were taken to the detention center. Immediately they were handcuffed and a bag was placed over their heads. The handcuffs were never removed and the bag only lifted while eating.
However long they spent in the detention center, they were never able to see what was happening to them. They could only hear, and they could only feel.
Everyone, without exception, who went to the detention centers was tortured.
Argentinian army officers were sent to a school in Panama to learn how to torture its victims. It was run by the government of the United States of America.
Information. Yes, I know, you've done this before, but this is revision. And no, we will not be having a practical session this lesson. We'll have one next lesson. Now pay attention.
Now before getting started, you remember how we soften our clients up? Yes, that's right. Give them a good beating of a hard rubber truncheon. Well done, Colonel.
Then we can get down to business. To equip an intensive therapy room, you'll need an iron bedstead without a mattress, a bathtub or a bath filled with water, and a battery-operated field telephone. You know the stuff. The faster you turn the handle, the higher the voltage. Yeah, I know it's a lot of effort turning the handle, but it's worth it.
You will also need 2 electric cattle prods, one of 125 volts and another of 220 volts. And what's the difference? Come on, I did this last month, and it's in the notes I gave out. Okay, I'll tell you again, but this time listen. The 125 volt prod causes involuntary muscle movement and pain all over the body.
While the 220 volt cattle prod causes violent painful contractions, although the limbs are being torn off the body. Now remember, there's usually a question about that in the exam. It's standard practice to have a doctor on hand. You don't want your clients expired if you're finished with them, do you?
Now, when you do practical sessions, we recommend the following techniques. Please write these down as their shots come up in the exam. Technical term 1, the grill. This is the application of electroshocks to the soft tissue of a client's body. I won't go into detail because we can all use our imaginations, can't we? And besides, we covered this in biology.
Technical term 2, the wet submarino. You immerse your client's head in water until they nearly drown.
Technical term 3, the dry submarino. It's like the wet submarino, except you use a plastic bag.
Any questions? Yes? Well, if they still refuse to talk, well, in that case, we suggest burial. You bury your clients up to their necks in the outdoors without any food or water until they decide to talk. If that doesn't work, then we suggest you try all the above techniques on their relatives.
And then what? The disappeared had to disappear permanently. They had to be disposed of.
Many were shot and buried in unmarked mass graves.
Many were drugged, taken half of the Atlantic Ocean in planes, and thrown into the sea alive.
In the ocean steeped with the fishes.
We speak with the worms. We are the voices of the disappeared. Speak of us. Keep us alive in your memories.
And what of the children? Over 350 children were taken. This does not take into account the women who gave birth in the detention centers. What happened to them?
Many were adopted by the same police and army officers involved in killing their parents. Some children were sold, and some children were given to childless couples.
The case of Paula Logueras.
Paula Logueras was kidnapped in May 1976. Along with her parents, she was only 23 months old.
In April 1980, the mothers received an unmarked packet.
What's in the packet?
Open it!
It's photos. Let me see. It looks like my Paula, my granddaughter. She's older, but I still recognize her.
There's an address. She's living in the home of someone named Ruben Levy.
Look, more information.
Dear Mrs. Logueras, I have something to tell you. I was a guard at the detention center where your son and daughter were killed. I'm sorry, I was just a guard. I didn't kill them, but I know about the man Llewellyn. He was very sadistic. He enjoyed his work. He adopted your children as his own.
This is terrible. The man who murdered her parents has taken her as his own. I have to get her back. We will go to the courts.
The case of Paula Logueras. It's one of them.
Your Honor, I know this is my granddaughter. I recognize her. My family's recognized her. My husband's recognized her.
Your Honor, this is not true. She is my daughter. She has always been my daughter.
These people have made this fantastic story up.
Recognition evidence is not enough. You need proof. Case dismissed.
In May 1984, we received a court order to take a blood sample from Paula. The test proved that she was truly my granddaughter. Your Honor, we have clear proof that this girl is my granddaughter, and we want her back.
All right. I accept that she is not my daughter. I accept everything that they say is true. But, Your Honor, you cannot give this girl to these people. They are strangers to her, and she can remember nothing of her time before us.
My husband and I have raised her as our own daughter. To remove her from us would be more traumatic than to let her stay with us.
I agree. Case dismissed.
In November, Grandma brought the case to the Supreme Court of Argentina. Your Honor, we wish to make the following points.
The man who's raised Paula as his own was involved in the murder and torture of her true mother and father.
The murder of Paula Longueres. The murder of Paula Longueres' parents is one of many. To be told as a young adult she was raised by the murder of her true parents would be far more traumatic than to be told right away. Kidnapping is a crime, even if it takes 6 years to solve.
To fail to prosecute crimes against children, even if a child of an individual case is not harmed, is to grant immunity to those who prey on children.
In December 1984, the Supreme Court ruled that Paula was to be returned to her grandparents.
When I returned to my house with Paula, we entered the house she had not seen since she was 2 years old.
I turned left, entered the room I used to sleep in and said, "Where's my teddy bear?"
The stories about the disappeared is not a secret anymore. The people of Argentina began to find out what happened.
Today, Argentina is a democratic country with an elected government, but most of those involved in the torture and the murder of the disappeared have still gone unpunished. The mothers still seek justice for their dead children, which is why the mothers of the Plaza de Mayo still walk every Thursday at 3:30 p.m.
We won't forget! We won't forgive! We won't forget! We won't forgive! We won't forget! We won't forgive! We are still resisting! We are still resisting! We are still resisting! Judgment and punishment! Judgment and punishment! Judgment and punishment!
Well done, girls. Very good. Please.
I hope we don't get marked.